Brian O'Doherty Patrick Ireland, if you like, invented the rope drawing in 1973, in fact. He invented, if you like, his original and most distinctive contribution to contemporary art. The rope drawings began in 1973. The first one was in Green Street in New York, in an art centre there. Also at this time he was writing a whole series of essays which were published in Art Forum in 1976 called Inside the White Cube. Through these rope drawings he was exploring the deconstruction of the gallery space. What they really consist of are chords which carve up the space in which the work is made. They are environmental pieces. They are also, and most frequently in combination with, areas of colour, broad areas of colour. And the ropes are used to fracture the space and work sculpturally within the space. When they overlap or are made to align with the panels of colour on the walls in the room, they create these incredible framings, which has the effect of bringing the area of colour forward or making it recede. It's a really interesting experience for the person who is viewing this work. They are part of the artwork. They are within the artwork, and how they move within that artwork dictates what the artwork does, because it forms itself and it dissolves itself as the viewer moves around the space. They find moments of clarity where everything just snaps into form. And when they move away from that point, then everything returns to a sort of chaos. They consist of very minimal means. They are just white cord, which is stretched across space to divide the space, almost creating what are like translucent panes of glass through the space. And they work, as I said, in collaboration or in tandem with the painted areas then of the wall. So you're really only talking about cord and about paint and time and the artist's eye and alignments. Brian ordinarily would not use any sort of measuring like imperial or metric. He would usually work using his own body as a form of measurement, the hand span or his own height to calculate. With most of the rope drawings that he's made, he would be present in the space. In the last 2 or 3 years, he has created an interesting way of working in collaboration. Fergus Byrne and I have been working collaboratively with Brian. This was especially devised for IMMA. The title of the piece is The Doors to Good and Evil and the Windows to Heaven, Christina's World. It's a very narrative title, it's a very interesting one. I think I don't know of another title like it from Brian. Perhaps the references to the windows and the doors have an interesting play on this 17th century building where windows and doors are so prevalent. But obviously there's a sense of the past, the present, the future, and perhaps the afterlife. The reference to Christina's World is interesting. It's my name, but it also is the name of a very iconic painting by the artist Andrew Wyeth, who was someone that Brian knew and had interviewed and wrote quite extensively about, particularly in his book called The Voice and the Myth. However, Wyeth is interesting because he was kind of a very underrated and an overrated artist. And that particular painting, as Brian says, while it isn't the most significant work of art that's been created in the 20th century in American art terms, nevertheless, it has this mythology attached to it because it incited so much interest and so much kind of counter-argument back and forth between ideas of sentimentality and nostalgia in art or elitism in art. It was a really well-known painting. That reference is here in this rope drawing, and the reason that it began is because of the notion of a central viewing point, which is characteristic of this particular rope drawing. There's this position in this rope drawing which in a way is slightly reminiscent of that figure in Wyeth's painting of Christina Olsen was her name, and she was reclining in the field and looking up the kind of rolling hills. It's in a field in Maine in the US, and this painting was done in 1948. Her position, she's reclining but she's extremely alert. She's looking away from the artist, but her hand rests at the very center point of the painting. This is so true, I think, a characteristic of a lot of Brian's drawings is that they encompass or they draw in an awful lot of references. And I guess he's resistant as well and reluctant to plan in too many or to talk about them too much, because really it's up to the viewer. It's really important that the viewer feels free to engage with the artwork and experience it in a way that they find meaning in it for themselves. It's there, it's open, it's for the viewer to explore and find things for themselves.
See the difference?
Yeah.
I didn't get dead center.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are all variables, huh?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Can
I just...
the only criterion is what looks good to you.
Okay.
That doesn't look good, I wouldn't like that. No, that looks good. No, that's more or less in there.
Yeah.
So that's what,
yeah.
in these ones, where the curator
makes his
participates.
Decisions. Yeah, yeah. But just to, the big ropes again, just can I go through that with you, the numbering, the phases. Can I write that in? Or may I?
Write
so
anything you want.
This is one.
Yeah.
Saying this, yeah. Okay.
2, 3, that's 4.
And this is 4.
Yeah. And this is 5.
Yeah. And this is
and
a
this
continuous
is
piece of rope, isn't it?
Well, no, you
Not
stop
5.
up here,
yeah.
because then you get another rope
Yeah.
and put it on the wall.
On the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, may I do this?
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
Okay. Yeah.
The only things off the wall are those.
Yeah.
And they come out and you can twist them, you know, anything you want with them.
Yeah.
You see, they come out directly like that. You know, like that.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And like that, but it's a little difficult to manipulate. You'd have to have one of the lads, Fergus, and you can twist this one.
So they
out
can
of
be
the
at
way.
different angles, possibly, or will they be level when they're out from the wall? Will it be the same distance?
They should look pretty much the same.
Symmetrical.
Yeah. Because this one, this one alone throws the piece off, because it's the main focal point.
Yes. Yeah.
So this may be different. Never done that, so have a go.
Have a go. And this then is the same mirror of this. Yeah.
I didn't leave enough room over here.
Yeah.
And you have to decide the
curvature.
Now, I must say I'm very fond of my curvature because I have certain deficits, but I was able to make a very good curve.
That's a super curve.
And
my hand. Sorry.
I'm always amazed at what the hand can do.
Yeah, that's a lovely movement.
You have a lovely compass here with your elbow.
Yeah, yes. Just hold your elbow.
I have all this theory of drawing, you know, that there's the wrist drawing and then there's the fingers drawing, the fine-tuning, and that's what I'm missing a bit right now.
Yeah.
Any other questions, ma'am? I'm sure you have lots of, and you can always, you know, what people usually do is they get something up. There you are. I'm going to do this and this, and then you have to find your field of play.
Right.
And what they do then is they take and add this. That one's easy. And then you can paint those if you wish.
Yes.
And then what people usually do is they take their iPhone photograph and send it over and say, what do you think? And that's all.
Okay, that's good. So starting anyway with these, so kind of framing the central area.
And then you find your spaces.
Yeah, that leads.
And the next thing you do is these guys.
Yeah.
And make sure you leave enough space for these crazy, what's the Fiddler on the Roof guy that interviewed?
Who played the part?
Balin, this guy, Chagall.
Chagall.
Whose work I detest, but there's a certain Chagall-like nuttiness about these windows.
So the title here, anyway, is The Doors to Good and Evil and the Windows to Heaven.
The Windows to Heaven.
Yeah.
Is that too much?
No, I think it's fascinating. And
also, AKA
Christina's Wall. is there anything else that what led you to this, or anything to do with IMMA or the burial having happened in IMMA?
Nothing
or
to do with that.
Nothing at all.
No.
Yeah. I must check the number as well of this rope drawing. I think it's
Brenda will have that.
probably about 1, 2, 3. I think.
Do you want a reference to the building?
No, not necessarily.
Or to the burial?
No, I'm just
We
sort
put
of
the
using.
silhouette of a corpse down here.
What kind of green do you want then, if it isn't the green
Yeah,
that we were
and-
talking about?
Exactly, the dark green for the base, for the ground area.
I think that's not bad.
Yeah, 6011, that RAL colour. Yeah. So that's got a
What do
certain
you
amount of
think,
yellow
Barbara?
in it. Yeah.
Don't ask me, because I
This-
like to have some yellow in it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Does it have yellow? Which one?
This one?
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost where I would have gone.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you only get one kind of paint for these. The work we need
This
a
one
couple
is
of.
This has a little more saturation.
So you would think, yeah,
Somewhere in
Between-
that range
yeah.
would work.
60710. Mm-hmm.
Where's your burnt sienna? Would you want something like that?
I think the green would be nicer in a way, wouldn't it?
I like the idea of the green.
You have green, purple, red, blue. I mean, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. And the purple then, what shade? I wonder, is it a
I'll find
Mid.
it for you. That one.
sorry, this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
No,
one.
Sorry, this one.
the
Oh
second
yeah,
one.
that's lovely. Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of pink in it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? 006.
What green did you decide on?
It's between these two. Barbara's suggesting. That was the one you pointed out first. Sorry, this one was the first one you pointed out, but then
I thought you
Something
needed a
for
little
more
more
depth,
saturation.
Okay.
Mm.
And the red is the big thing.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we were looking at this red, or something between this and this. Sorry,
Excuse me.
Mike.
I would like that one actually.
Yeah.
Barbara
Well,
wouldn't like
2002.
Well, it's your piece, Brian.
Yeah.
Don't go
but
by
you know,
me.
Mm. Yeah.
But I like
Mm.
decisions from lots of people.
Yeah.
This is a little too brown
But
for
too
me.
brown. Yeah.
Try that one on Barbara.
Which one?
This one.
That one.
I like that. He doesn't like that. He thinks that's too brown.
No,
No, he likes that one.
Oh, that one's lovely.
Yeah.
the one up here is too brown.
This one is too brown. Yeah.
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah.
This is lovely.
So we
Yeah.
got now. Then all we
2002,
need is a blue. We did we do the yellowish one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we more or less.
Got the
Is
yellow.
this that gold? Is this gold?
We were looking at these.
Oh no,
This
it's the
one?
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So all we need is a dark grey and a very light grey.
And the
Yeah.
blue.
Blue we were looking at yesterday is 5015 in this range. 5015. That one.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
What do you think, Louise?
I like that you said they're variable. That's interesting to me, that the colour then becomes subjective.